Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor. Wanted to remind everybody, or let you know, Link to, who is one of my sponsors, they are doing a, you can get up to 10, depending on how much you buy, you can get up to 10% off of Cerebras, which is the AI chip, largest AI chip making company, or they create the largest chip. And they've also, I believe, filed for IPO, but you can get up to 10% off of Cerebras on the platform, linqto.com, or download the app. Financial Services Committee was doing a subcommittee hearing on DeFi today. Here's Representative French Hill.
Welcome back, members and staff, to Capitol Hill following our August work period. Today we're going to discuss decentralized finance. After the FIT21 legislation passed with broad bipartisan support, I wanted this subcommittee to explore emerging topics like tokenization and DeFi. As we consider how blockchains can be used in finance, we must continue expanding our knowledge of the possible costs and benefits as it relates to DeFi. Decentralized finance envisions a financial system that's permissionless, transparent, efficient, and built on top of blockchain networks. It's based on the fundamental idea that individuals should have the freedom to transact without the fear of illegal financial surveillance or abuse by governments. By substituting intermediaries for autonomous, self-executing code, decentralized finance can shift the way the financial markets and transactions are currently structured and governed. A peer-to-peer future where a Canadian prime minister in the future can't freeze your bank account just for going to a protest. But whether it's artificial intelligence or digital assets, we cannot legislate thoughtfully or do oversight of the regulatory agencies if we don't understand it. And DeFi is not only complex, but cutting edge, changing, and a completely different way of working. But at the end of the day, decentralized finance is not a person or a company, it's a technology, and one that connects people together to reimagine how we transact with one another. So today's hearing is designed to take a deep dive into some core concepts behind DeFi. I'd like members on both sides of the aisle to approach it with an open mind. We'll hear from our witnesses about this technology, how it works, the potential benefits and risks, the legal and regulatory implications. It's important to remember that our regulatory and legal frameworks were designed for a financial system with centralized intermediaries. It doesn't contemplate the decentralized peer-to-peer ecosystem made possible with digital assets and blockchains. That's why jurisdictions like the European Union have chosen to explicitly carve out DeFi in their digital asset legislation so they can continue to better understand it. Rightfully, we took the same approach in drafting our FIT21 legislation here in the House, which directed the Treasury, the SEC, and the CFTC to study this issue together and report back to Congress on the implications and their recommendations. Contrast that with the Biden-Harris administration, which uses rulemaking and enforcement actions to go after DeFi and threaten its existence and the future of its use in the United States. Now that this committee has moved with our historic bipartisan FIT21 legislation, it's important that together we assess DeFi and study the most effective way forward. This hearing is not just about smart contracts and decentralized protocols. It's about how decentralized peer-to-peer technology can preserve individual freedom and improve our financial services for business and consumers alike. Together, we'll take another step in our work on the regulatory landscape that supports transformative technology.
Okay, but the point is this, folks, and while everything's been kind of the doldrums here with nothing going on, people aren't really thinking about it. But when you, at some point, you're going to get that legislation, and when you do, When somebody can hold it up and say, oh, this is the first crypto legislation ever, this market is going to go freaking nuts. And I'll be here for it. Listen to Michael Saylor talking about the stages of a Bitcoin journey. And I'll interrupt and give my insertion of what, because I went through a similar journey, but it diverted.
Bitcoin journey. And everybody goes through this journey. You're born a denier. It's tulip bulbs. It's a scam.
I never really looked at it that way. I was just born a guy who was like looking at it and I didn't understand what it was.
This is the Peter Schiff. You're born a Peter Schiff. Maybe you stay a Peter Schiff. 1 hour is enough to be a skeptic. After 1 hour, you've learned just enough to hurt yourself. In 10 hours, you think, well, maybe it's an asset. I think I'll trade it. I'm going to buy it cheap and sell it when it's expensive. And then I'm going to buy it back cheap, and I'm just going to arbitrage something this way and that way. After 100 hours of study, of thinking about it, you become an investor.
All right, here's where me and Michael Saylor divert. It didn't even take me 100 hours. I would say more like 5. At 5 hours, I was like, wait a minute. So if somebody can create Bitcoin out of thin air, then I wonder if there's something I can get cheaper, because there's already Bitcoin millionaires. Is there something I can get cheaper that also has a limited supply? It has the scarcity, because that was kind of what at first struck me. Is there something else I can get? And then later on I found out that, yeah, there was, and not only was there, but that's something I could get. I could send faster, I could send cheaper, and it had the scarcity, and it was a lower price so I could get more of it. And that's XRP. All right, here is Greg Manarito, where he's investing right now. Interesting clip.
But it also causes cash to come out of assets it should be going into, that is commodities. Okay, so commodities are on sale. And the more the Fed does this, the more on sale commodities are going to go. You got to be diversified here. Greg Manarino attacks this market in multiple ways. Okay, this market, whatever we have, it's a free-for-all. That is buying the market, staying long the market, buying the dips in this market, owning commodities, gaining exposure to commodities, and yes, of course, cryptocurrencies as well. Other things too, artwork, musical instruments, collectible things. Cash moves through the markets in predictable patterns. When you have this environment of risk on, and it's about to get much more extreme, the central banks now are going to pump the world full of more debt than we've ever seen before in the history of the world. This is an insane situation here. We do not need lower rates. We do not need a weaker currency. These are economic destroyers. What we actually need is higher rates and a stronger currency.
Okay. This is bound to make some XRP Gestapo members mad, because you're not allowed to use these kind of numbers. When the market's down, you can only be pessimistic, and you can never say any high prices for XRP. The XRP chart based on previous cycle predicts 227 this bull run. It went to 384 in that one. He's predicting 227. Just give me 27, I'll be happy. eGrag Crypto published a prediction stating that XRP's 540 days of consolidation will be coming to an end soon. Are you bullish on XRP? Yes, I am. I've been buying this last week. I did 2 buys last week. And I'm going to continue to do buys as long as things are down. XRP Ledger Fix AMM amendment just gained majority with 29 yes votes. Activation is in 2 weeks. This amendment means for users better matching of trade sizes, therefore better swap rates in the automated market maker when XRP is involved. Now, Caitlin Long, as I've noted before, one of the DC insiders who came forward to explain why the Fed shot Custodia in early 2023, described that the Fed was afraid of losing regulatory turf to the SEC, which keeps trying to regulate banks. And the Fed needed a dead body. The turf war continues. And this is, they're talking about Gary Gensler. He's going to speak on something having to do with these bank regulations. Then she put this one out. Oh my God, it looks like Gensler's internal comments that the SEC mistakenly posted publicly. I strongly recommend that a sentence be placed here or somewhere in the first part of the speech to reassure markets that you are not making the speech because you think there's an imminent crisis. Uh-oh, they're worried about spooking people. And then I wanted to show you this from Meta Lawman. As you start to see the polls between John Deaton and Elizabeth Warren, which I haven't seen any yet, I don't think, but this is what you need to keep in mind. Well, you need to keep this in mind, and also that the Elizabeth Warren and her people, they will lie. They control the media up there, and they're gonna do the same thing that's been done to Trump, where they fake the polls and they use samples that are like mostly Democrats and stuff like that in order to make it look like this thing's like Elizabeth Warren has it in the bag. Never underestimate a U.S. Marine. Massachusetts GOP poll, May 30th, 2024. Antonellis had 19%, Deaton 15%, Packard 9%, Kane 5%. 96 days later, the voters speak. Deaton 65%, Antonellis 26%, Kane 9%. Get ready. USMC Major John Deaton will shock the world on November 5th. I tell you what, this is going to be exciting. Now, in DAIXRP.com, we've got another video that has just surfaced about, you know, when they attempted that thing on X47, you know that? We've got another video, and we also have something that we have not had until today. Donald Trump's wife came out and put out a video, and I'm not going to show it out here, I'll show it in there. Put out a video. Well, just go in DAIXRP.com and you can see what she says. You're not going to believe it. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe, hit the like button, tell your friends and family. Here we go.